The Age of Enlightenment was controlled by 17th century Reddit incels. In its speedrun for a cyberpunk dystopia, humanity discovered many characteristics unique to each individual. Your fingerprints, the way you talk, your consumption of furry media, and your texting habits. The texting patterns and the phone calls of an individual form their social signature. How much you favor phone calls over text messages, your favorite time of day for begging women, and the burstiness of your communication. Imagine you're a teenager discovering the art of cranking your shit. Over time, you would see long pauses in activity interrupted by frenetic sequences of tapping your solid device, much like we do with our phones. That's what burstiness is, a characteristic of communication for which there are short periods of very high communication spaced by very long periods of quiet and reduced contact. That's what having instantaneous messaging does. In ancient times, communication was slower, sure, but it also occurred at a constant rate. That's a stupid-ass lie. Just look at my blue balls. They form a network, representing thousands of the letters that scholars from the Age of Enlightenment exchanged over a period of centuries. They used to call themselves the Republic of Letters, and to learn more about them, we can commit the privacy equivalent of necrophilia. So this is the shortest communication path between a pair of nodes. Now let's repeat this calculation for all the pairs of enlightened edgelords. After doing this, we can take any given edgelord and we can measure how many of all the shortest paths in the network go through this specific individual. With just one, this guy's parents probably hate him. That's because the ratio between the number of shortest paths you're a part of and the total number of shortest spots in a network defines your centrality. If someone's centrality is 1, every single shortest path in the network goes through them. They are the man. And if your centrality is 0, you're probably a gish. In modern society, the most popular people have a centrality of 0.08. They're part of 8% of the shortest paths of their networks. But back in the Age of Enlightened cells, some people, likely repellent to women, managed to insert themselves into over half of all the shortest paths of the Republic of Letters. But centrality is not the most identifiable characteristic of your social signature. Watch this. This is it. If you take all the time you spend talking to your people between phone calls and SMS messages, you get this. Say you talk most to your best friend, then there's parents, then there's some other friends and colleagues, and there's definitely no girlfriend if you watch this, okay? Let's be real now. Let's say I allocate 50% of my time to my favorite person in the world. Then maybe I spend 25% of my time talking to my world-class therapist, maybe another 10% trying to reconnect with the parents who disown me, and then I dedicate the rest of the time to other terrible relationships. According to science, these ratios will stay pretty consistent, even when I will inevitably go through traumatic life experiences like getting a real job. But it's not about these exact specific people. Let's say the AI bubble bursts, and all of a sudden my girlfriend's IQ seems to trace an exact copy of the stock market. Now she's as smart as the average One Piece viewer, but maybe she's just going through a tough period in her life. And as we all know, when one of your loved ones is going through a rough patch, the best thing to do for them is to cut them out of your life entirely. But there's a big ass problem. Now I have a gaping hole in my social signature, okay? I have a vacant spot. Science says that I will fill this gap by either sliding other people up or by replacing the lost contact with a much, much better person. But what matters is that the structure of my signature stays the same. For ages, this was taken as a consequence of carrying around the digital equivalent of opium. But the enlightened men of times past displayed the exact same behavior. After scientists computed the social signature of many members of the Ruffle, they found that it remained consistent across decades of their lives. And that was proven true even for people that frequently changed contacts throughout their lives. And the craziest part was that each individual signature was deemed to be pretty unique. You could theoretically recognize someone exclusively from their communication patterns. We are more banal and predictable than we'd like to think. But this information should also make you reflect on how you allocate your time, if it really is worth to chase that toxic relationship or if maybe you should focus your efforts towards loving people that love you back. And remember, if you're feeling lonely, you can always get AI psychosis.